The new Universal Championship belt.
Holy boy.
I've heard people call it the fruit roll-up title.
I, just, I don't even know what you really. It's like I saw a post on Facebook or something. It's like this is what happens when you get a 2-for-1 coupon with wrestling belts.
Dude, they're selling it on Shop Zone, a replica for like $450.
Really?
Yeah.
We're trying that?
Yeah, they are.
Guarantee in a week that's gonna be in the discount bin.
Dude, they're going full steam ahead. They had it on Monday when Finn came out with it. Uh, it's interesting. There was obviously a lot of backlash, and yeah, the Brooklyn crowd probably went too far. But Mick Foley, I saw that you shared an article, um, kind of chiding the wrestling fans. It was called "When Smart Fans Go Dumb." You know, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about Mick Foley these days. I love the guy. He's one of my favorites.
He's a real mixed bag these
Yeah.
days.
He seems to get offended by things like it's like there's no rhyme or reason, and I understand this maybe was he felt like it was disrespectful, so I do kind of get that, but I feel like he went a little overboard with it, whereas maybe if he wasn't with the company he wouldn't have taken such a hard stance.
Yeah. In some places in the article, I will agree with you. It did seem like he was going a little overboard, but for the overall tone and what he said in the article, I agree with most of what he said because at that time it really did kind of screw it up for those two guys.
It did.
What like whether or not the belt looks ridiculous and every God-given human on earth thinks that, it's doesn't mean you should take that particular moment and just make it so much worse for two guys who are currently trying to beat the ever loving hell out of each other to, win that belt.
And that's why I feel weird about Mick Foley's comments because I do understand it. It was a great matchup. It was awesome, and for people to just shit on it, and if you're gonna say something about the belt, I get it. That's one thing. To start a chant, yeah, 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 but to they carried it on for like 5 to 7 minutes during the match when these guys are doing some great stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And like ignoring what's actually happening in the match just so they can chant about hating what the belt looks like.
Now, I will say this: while I do have sympathy for that argument, and while I do kind of agree to an extent with what Mick Foley said, at the same time, WWE didn't do themselves any favors. And I take issue with one thing Mick Foley said, even though I'm not taking issue with him necessarily because I agree with him to a point. They built this championship up like, oh, this is the next great title. It's better than the WWE title. It's blah 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 blah. They waited to debut it and made a big moment of debuting the physical title in the ring before the matchup. If it looked like that, maybe they thought it looked awesome. I don't know. But maybe if there was a feeling that it looked kind of ugly, it maybe looked like a fruit roll-up, as some people are saying, or a Gucci handbag.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they should have debuted it on Raw the week before and let the fans get it out of their system for 3 or 4 days on social media before having the match at SummerSlam. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe a little bit of foresight could have saved all that trouble.
Agreed. No. I can totally see how if maybe some people who had seen the actual physical title had been like, "Hey, about that."
Like, why couldn't they have leaked a photo even? You know?
Even you're right. If even they would have leaked a photo, that would have saved them a lot of hassle.
I guess, I don't know, man. And it's interesting. I was catching some of SmackDown while.
Some of these emails came out. There's a photo on the internet. Oh darn.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it could have saved him a lot of headaches. But maybe it's just maybe it's one of those situations where Vince McMahon and company just thought, "Oh my God, this is the greatest wrestling championship of all time."
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it seems like one of those times.
Yuck.
and family was all standing in a circle.
This is awesome. It's
Oh, this is great.
it's
The
red
best
because
thing,
of Raw.
best thing we've come up with since last year.
And like there was nothing different. Like they built it up as this awesome Universal Championship, and there's nothing different. They just took an ugly red strap and put it on the.
I was gonna say all they did was change the color scheme from the other two belts.
It's like,
You're just inverting the color scheme. I could do that with a Windows 97.
could you imagine if like what's Steve Jobs, if he was still alive, if he comes out and like they're touting the newest Apple evolution of technology, right? They come out on stage, and after like 4 or 5 weeks of like plugging this thing, it's going to change the face of technology, and it's going to blow away the iPad, it's going to blow away the tablet. And then Steve Jobs comes out and he like pulls this curtain down, and it's an iPad, except it's like an oval shaped instead of a rectangle. Do you not think that people would boo that or give him shit?
Dude, if it was Steve Jobs, don't even go that route. Unfortunately, those Apple fanboys are really serious about that shit, and I don't even understand it anymore.
Okay, but is that any different than like your hardcore wrestling fans that get their panties in a wad when Dean Ambrose has to lose to Brock Lesnar?
I'm not saying there's not going to be a big section of his fan base out there is going to be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh man, I'm just saying, man. If you build it up and tout it, and then it's just like, have you ever seen the pictures of like it's supposed to be like a booking meeting where they're coming up with ideas, and Vince is like, this is the greatest or whatever, and then they like look down and they add a zero to the number, and then everyone's like, oh my god, that's amazing. Like that's the epitome of like what went into making this title.
Essentially, also, it's literally somebody went in and changed a couple numbers on a color chart.
And it's weird, man, because
Like you could do it in MS Paint.
well, what's the thing they used to have when we were in school? Kid pics. Talk about a throwback, man.
Oh wow, one of millions of programs we were raised on.
But no, dude, you're 100% right. There was nothing different except for the strap, and it's weird because like I feel like I don't think they could have made the metal plating. I don't think they could have made it silver because maybe they didn't want it to look less than gold. I don't fucking know. Say platinum for God's sakes. But I feel like
Right.
I on SmackDown before I came down, I had it on and I was watching a little bit of the beginning. They had the new SmackDown Tag Championships and the new SmackDown Women's Championship, which everyone's probably going to go crazy over because it's the same as the other ones. But the women's title didn't look that bad. It was a white strap, like Charlotte's Championship, with like a blue background instead of a red background. Now, I still think those championships looks like a big class ring, but at the same time, it didn't look as bad as the Universal title did.
Right. No, no, no. But following the class ring motif is definitely tag championships.
Hey, be Michael Hayes. Hey Vince, I saved us a ton of money on these championships. I'm not going to the guys that charge us 12 grand a title anymore to design them. Really, pal? Where'd you go? I went to Joson's. They do the class rings for all the high school kids.
The worst part is I could totally see Vince running with that.
Well, look,
He wouldn't tell anybody, and he would like have Justin sign like a non-disclosure agreement. It would be like 30 years before they could tell anybody that at that point for 30 years they'd been the ones doing the WWE championship.
Could you imagine being being a parent and you get the brochure sent home with your kid like before he graduates, and you're flipping through, it's like Joson's class rings and WWE titles.
For all your championship needs.
Oh my god, yeah, just what a colossal miss. And Mick Foley, God love him.
It's like it's like the best part about that is like with the Justin's thing, that's totally one of those times I see them roping DDP into it. I could totally.
What is the spokesman to shill it?
Yeah, it's like a spokesman for Justin's. Are you kidding me? They're like, hey, we'll pay you to go to the high schools and help us promote the class rings and stuff.
As long as hey bro, as long as I get to plug my DDP yoga. Wow, that was
Yeah,
not even close
yeah,
to Diamond Dallas
exactly.
Page.
That's gonna be his thing.
Oh man.
Oh my God. 30 years from now, that's gonna be high schools across America.
It's a perfect fit because
Justin's and DDP yoga
he'll sell class rings
in
to all
every
the
high school.
he'll sell class rings to all the athletes that are in shape, and he'll do DDP yoga with all of the fat tubbies that don't play sports.
All the overweight band kids.
Oh,
We're still getting the class rings.
oh, band kids. Dude, you're a band kid, and you weren't overweight.
Damn straight I wasn't.
Oh my God! Just to wrap up the debacle of the Universal Championship, Mick Foley, like I said, God love him. He put in his blog, he said the hardcore title was a broken championship held by duct tape, but we were able to make it something. Well, Mick, I understand your point, and God bless you for everything you've done. Obviously, Andy and I are big fans. God, if you'd even hear this, who knows? But
Right.
let's remember the hardcore title was supposed to be a rib on Mankind from Vince McMahon.
Exactly. It was supposed to be a joke.
Exactly. It was, oh look, I'll give him this shitty title and make him feel important, so he goes out and he's my hired gun. It's like it was intentionally supposed to be a joke. It wasn't touted for 6 weeks on TV as like the greatest championship in WWE history. Now again, I understand it. It's a title belt. It's a prop. Yes, the match is what is important. But at the same time, I get what he's trying to say about the importance of a championship and the matches that define it. But at the same time, come on, it's kind of apples and oranges that hardcore title was supposed to be a joke.
A little bit. A little bit. This one's supposed to be a serious. We're supposed to look at this like a new world heavyweight title, essentially.
Yeah, the end all be all, better than SmackDown.